Hi everyone, I hope you can see my table okay. I won't be able to see if there's anyone on live, and if there's any questions or comments I'll have to look at those after because I've got the camera on top of me. So apologies if you're asking questions, but I will get back to them when I read the comments when I finish the video. So today's video is going to be about how to make a smudging stick, and today's smudging stick I decided to make was a very feminine, to bring in a softer female energy for protection in a more intuitive way. So maybe I've been talking a lot about intuition, and so I wanted to make one that was very soft, gentle, and intuitive, so you can use when you're meditating or when you're wanting to protect yourself against negativity, in a more sort of softer, subtle, feminine way. So the herb that I'm using is going to be lavender. So this is a dried up lavender plant that you can see the flowers have dried up, which is kind of nice because they maintain their fragrance, but they're easier to work with. And this plant has been repotted somewhere else, so I just picked some of the leaves. And lavender has traditionally been used to evoke a more feminine energy. So if we're looking at the goddess, Mother Earth, feminine protection as well. So I thought it'd be a nice one to use. And then I've just picked some rosebuds from the garden. So this is all from my garden, so I know there's no pesticides on it. Some rosebuds that we're going to use now. So you're going to need some, you can use lavender, or you can use lavender mixed with rosemary, or if you do happen to have sage, that would be good too. So you can use any of the herbs you have in the garden. Just be careful not to use anything that's toxic. Mainly if you can use them in cooking, then you can use them for burning for sage sticks as well. So what I'm going to do is I'll just bundle up this here in the center, and I'm using cotton so that when I burn this stick I'm not going to get a toxic smell. So I take a length of cotton, and I'm just going to extend maybe about 10 centimeters at the end there, and I'm just going to thread it through the middle. With the lavender, it can be quite woody, especially if your lavender is like mine and it's sort of drying out. Then don't use the really, really heavy woody parts. And what I'm talking about is the thick sticks here like that. This is the first one I made, so I was just sort of experimenting, and I could see that you can see at the end there, when you do burn it, the wood kind of gets in the way and doesn't burn as quickly as the others, so it kind of, you have to cut it off. So we don't want that effect. We want sort of softer, more brittle branches there. Okay, so I want these flowers, these roses, to show a bit. So I'm just going to put them there. And all you're doing really is bunching them up nice and close. And see here, I might actually put the roses in later. So it's all trial and error and just going with your feeling. If I were to bunch these up here, the top would be less gathered, so I'm going to kind of squash it to see what it would look like. Yeah, that's pretty good. If there's, see that bit there is a bit woody, I'm going to take that away. We'll see what it's connected. It's connected to a flower, so I'm just going to cut that away so it's not as branchy. That's good. And I have my end there. I'm just going to keep that so I can make a knot. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to bind the lavender first. I know I've got the roses there, but I want to make a secure base for the roses. I might go, so you can just play around with it, really. I might go the lighter one at the top and then go darker as I go down. That will look nice. And that's still attached to the cotton, so I haven't cut it yet, and that way I can be free to use however much bind I need. That's just popped out, so put that in there. And you don't want to do it too tight, nor too loose. It's just a matter of binding. It's very simple to do. And this has been done through the ages, you know. This is like really ancient incense sticks, I guess, what they would use when they first started psychic protection or being aware of psychic realms. And so, you know, in Aboriginal cultures around the world, people just would call on nature to provide them with that protection, and people discovered that they could use things like lavender to protect themselves, you know, once they dried them out. So I'm just catching. Now, I'm a bit generous with my string, I know, but as long as it's all sort of bound in, see that top part? I'm just going to bring that down to catch it at the top there. And then I'm going to get some more and catch it at the end here. And so then I can cut these two. I hope you can see this video okay. If you can't, I'll just re-record it. And tie those up. And then I'm going to make a loop like that because you want to dry this for at least 3 weeks, depending on where you are and how humid or dry it is where you live. You know, it's going to take longer if it's wet and humid, and a shorter time if it's dry where you live. So there is the smudge stick. See how easy that was to make? Now, I'm going to let that dry. I'm in summer in Melbourne, Australia, so I'm going to let that dry for 3 weeks. Not in the direct sunlight, but I do have an enclosed area outside, and so I'll let it dry there so there's no moisture that will get to it, but it'll be aired and dried. And then when it is dried, it will look something like this. This one is rosemary, bay leaf, and lavender. And so when it is dried, this one's nice and dry. You can probably hear it sizzling. You can use it on your body, on your home, you know, under the bed, on the sides and the corners, and inhaling the smoke. So there you have it. How to make a very simple homemade smudge stick. Alright, I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly do love making them. It's very therapeutic, so I'm going to make some more, I think. Alright then, I'm going to go off and have my fun, and I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to have a visit from the Oracle cards, and I'll speak to you then.